Count on me through thick and thin, a friendship that will never.
No, please stop. Please stop. Please stop.
Now, I heard Melissa when I came on, and she's awesome. So I don't know about what you're giving me now, Javon. But Melissa sounds like she's safe.
Now, Javon, you have heard the woman of God. Okay, the answer is no, and don't ask her no more. Now.
The Creative Showcase is where we let you go forth in your talent and showcase to the world what it is that you do. I'm going to ask Keandra to sing the song, but here's the caveat. You can't sing something gospel.
I get so weak in the knees, I can hardly speak. I lose all control, and something takes over me. By my side, I swallow my pride. Your love is so sweet, it knocks me right off my feet. Oh my, can't explain why your loving makes me weak.
Can you do that, just that one, because I literally just got chills. Can you just do that? Can't explain just one more time, just so I can close my eyes and pretend like I'm in the front row of your R&B concert at the Grammy with your performance. Okay, one more time.
Can't explain why your loving makes me weak. I try hard to fight it.
Boom, boom.
No way can I deny it.
Boom, boom.
Your love so sweet.
What does it do?
Knocks me off my feet.
Take us home. Take us home.
I get so weak in the knees, I can hardly speak. I lose all control, and something takes over me. In a day, it is so amazing. I can't explain why you're loving me weak. Oh.
Wow, that's what she did. And she did it. Oh, can you show me? One more time, just that one part, please.
Can't explain why your loving makes me weak.
Get a little bit crazy. Let's get a little bit crazy. Let's get a little bit crazy. Let's get a little bit crazy. Yeah. Let's get a little bit crazy.
I'm just playing. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special, what is this, midnight edition of the Javon Show. Why are we up this late? Let me tell you why we're up this late. Because I've got 2 kids. And I'm trying to figure out, wait a minute, I just thought about something. Don't tell nobody this. I got 3 kids. Somehow, I misplaced a child and forgot that I had one. But have you ever imagined what life would be like as a gospel recording artist and have 14 of them, not 4. You're missing it. I didn't say 4. I said 14. I didn't say a 4-year-old and a 14-year-old. I said 14. Touch your neighbor and say, neighbor, 5 is enough. I didn't hear you loud enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about gospel music. We're going to talk about new projects. We're going to talk about life. We're going to talk about current issues. But I want to bring this man on and talk about 14 kids. Ladies and gentlemen, industry veteran, gospel recording artist, and the greatest dad ever, James Grear. How are you doing, James?
I'm doing so well. How about you, Javon?
No, I'm going to ask you again because that's the church answer that somebody that doesn't have 14 kids can say. I said, James. James, how are you doing?
Better now because they all grown. But
I want to know if you can. Now, listen, I'm not testing your resolve because you are a young-looking man. So clearly you've done something right that they didn't stress you out. I've got 4. I'm 32 years old, and you see what my hair looks like. So, and I even forgot that I had one. So, if you could, can you give a shout out to the 14 kids you have, Mr. Nick Cannon gospel version? And if you can also give us ages. Let's see it. Let's go.
Yeah, shout out to all of my boys. I'm a very, very in ages. My youngest is 19. He just turned 19 on the 15th. And then let's see. Here we go. So I have. You want me to go one by one? The ages?
Take your time, preacher. Whatever way gets you to 14.
Woo. Okay, so we have. That's gonna be tough. But
yeah, take your time. Take your time.
So we have 19. We have 23. We have 25, 27, 28, 30, 32, 33, 34. One just turned 35 yesterday. I think 35 yesterday. 36. Oh, and I'm missing in there. 14 to 36. I mean 19 to 36.
That's all that needs to be known.
Yes.
I'm going to give you a secret for the next 14 that you have.
Never.
Here's my secret. So my kids are, my oldest is Siobhan.
Okay.
My son is Javon Jr.
Okay.
And my daughter is Vaughn Trinity. You see what I did there?
Yeah, all Vaughn.
Because that's the only way I was going to remember their names.
Everybody's called Vaughn. Hey, Vaughn, come here.
Especially the VT one. That Vaughn Trinity. Come here, Trent. You know,
right,
something like that.
Right. There you go.
So how does one work the gospel industry the way that you have to work the music industry, period, and raise a family?
I can never say it was easy. It was a challenge, especially when it came time when the new music came out. We had to get out on the road to promote. And, you know, especially back in the day, we didn't have all the virtual stuff that we have now. And the only way to promote was to get out there and get in front of audiences on a regular basis. And at one point we were out for about 4 weeks. We were just, doing dates, doing promotional dates. And I got called in. I had to go fly home for an emergency with one of my boys. And it's got to the point it became so tough. I had to make a decision. That's why people are saying, one of my good friends, one of the major artists was saying to me, like, why would you go away and stay so long? Like, why would you just disappear? I said, because I had to put my focus on what was my first responsibility, and that was to raise my kids. And I realized that they were getting into those teen years. They needed me more then than ever. And it was kind of evident because they would do so well. And as soon as I leave out, trouble would start. And it's almost like a message like saying, we need you here. We need you here. Even though I had my brother at the house who was very capable. He was also a dad who had raised all his children, but just wasn't the same as dad being home, Right. I made a decision, like, even though we were recording music and doing things, but just out on the road like that, I just couldn't do it. And the honest thing, like I said, I went 13 years without a project. I didn't realize that much time had gone by. I was devastated.
13 years.
13 years. And when it started getting to be up in the years, I started getting really, really nervous saying, well, this could be done, because out of sight, out of mind. And there's so many artists and so much music out there. So many new people are coming on the scene, and everybody's great at what they do. I mean, these are not just people. These are people who are great artists, great singers, great musicians, great writers. and I thought it just might be over. And I got to a space where I was thankful for what I had experienced already. I was thankful for what God had done. And I got to the point saying, well, if I don't get to do this anymore, but the group was always still together. We were always singing. We never stopped singing as a group. But if I didn't get back on the side of far as being an artist and recording, I got to the point that I could be okay with that.
But in those 13 years of how do you, because I want to know how you kept the family together, and how the woman that, bless her heart, who was home with them was able to sustain her mind through you being on the road. But I want to get to the group for a quick moment. How do you sustain a group during that long period of time where you're not as active as you want to be?
We've been together for a very, very long time. And we were together for like probably 13, 14 years before we ever started recording. So the group is tight knitted and we're family. Okay. And so even outside of singing together, we're doing, potlucks and doing things. And we were always singing at something around town. We were always called to something or out of town, for something. Something would always come up where we were always singing. And we were so tight knitted until the family bond never changed. I still have pretty much the same people I've had for many, many years. Some new additions along the way, some of the younger people, but most of them been singing. I have one of my best friend of 38, 39 years who's been singing with me the entire time, still is in my group. Before we even had any kids, we were best friends, and we moved to Minnesota together. We started the group together. Her sister, her nieces are long-time members of the group. So that's where I spend my Christmas days. That's where I'm, for holidays. Second family. Yeah. So it's not just the singing. We're a family regardless besides singing.
But how do you keep up, even if you're able to keep up with the group, how do you keep up with the change of music during that time period?
Oh man, that's a mouthful because it changed so much. When I say drastic change, I learned, to be honest, Javon, I had to learn, even though sometimes you do have to make some adjustments, you have to be open to making changes. But I also recognize that the best artist is the artist that stays true to who you are. Even, of course you have to update, you have to update the sound, the music, you have to update the music, the tracks and all that. But as far as style of music and what we sing, I've learned not to try to duplicate what other people are doing just to try to be on the radio or just to be relevant. The best artist remains true to their artistry and remains true to who you are and your sound. And we've had a sound that we've had. We were a glorified praise team 20 years ago. We were doing praise
before
and
it was cool.
we were doing praise and worship. I promise you, we would start out doing a set or even rehearsal, and we started with a couple of praise and worship songs and be stuck there for an hour and a half. So we were doing that before it was popular. We were literally a praise and worship team. We would get called to churches to open up and do praise and worship before there were praise and worship teams. We were doing that. So it wasn't like it was this big change that had to take place. We do that in rehearsals. We get in rehearsal and start singing. And I'm a firm believer. I believe in tightening up your craft and being tight and all that. But I even had a community choir for about maybe 7 to 8 years, and we would go to sing, and you could just feel all the heaviness in the room. And I'm like, I can't sing over this. Something is to take place. And we began to minister. Come to find out that people have people that's struggling. And one lady was facing open heart surgery, and they told her that she didn't have many months to live, and she kind of kept that a secret. Somebody else was contemplating suicide. Somebody else had just lost a child. Wow. And we're trying to sing over that. So we stopped and we would take time and pray with people. And the lady that we prayed with the heart issue never had the heart surgery. God healed her, and she's still alive to this day. That's God. 13 years ago. But we always had that thing of praise and worship because that's where deliverance and things take place. And we always took that time to go into that mode. So it wasn't a big transition for us, right. Sound-wise, music-wise, we kind of stayed true to who we are. But we didn't try to compromise the music just to be popular, to be on radio. We kind of stuck to what we do. Yeah, what we do well.
I guess I'm wondering how, because you're hearing the voice of God telling you. I'm imagining. I'm going to interpret what you're saying and let me know where I'm off. Yeah. I'm interpreting that you're going to say that the Lord told you to go home. That the Lord told you, it's time to be with family. Mm-hmm. How do you counterbalance that with the voice of God saying, I've given you this gift, this talent, and I want you to share it with the entire world. I want you to go out and continue to touch people that are about to have open heart surgery, and let me use you to be I guess a gateway to manifesting of my glory. So
Yeah.
there's the I want you to go home, and there's also the but look at all of this work that I'm able to do on the road for your kingdom. How do you balance those two voices and make that decision to actually go home?
It was tough because even along with balancing the voices, it's the passion that burns on the inside of you when you're called to do something. And doing it since I was a teenager, you know, it was hard to not be in that space. At some points, I felt defeated. I felt like I has been like forgotten about. But I'm gonna tell you something really important. I recognize that family is the first ministry, and my boys were going through a lot of things, and I couldn't see myself running around trying to do something different when they needed me at home, and I had to be there to be able to be the minister to my children at home, and they were going through, be there for them through the hard times they were going through. But it definitely was a balance. There were times that we would be out singing, and I tell you, Javon, it was the most rewarding thing. You know, sometimes it wasn't clearly as often as it had been, and we would get called to go and do something, and God would just pour on us in such an amazing way, letting us know, I'm still with you. You haven't lost anything. And then God began to use the mouth of the prophets and people he had called to speak into us and said, the Lord said, it's not over for you. You're going to be back out there. People say, I hear your name being called in the music industry. I see more music coming. I see God giving you guys songs, and you're going to be back traveling, and God's going to bless you. You're going to be back where you were on the charts and even greater. And I had to hold on to that, saying, God, I know I'm in an obedient place right now. I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, taking care of my home. And I longed for it because the passion burns in me. My singers long for it. And then you watch others come along and be blessed, and you cheering and you're clapping for even a lot of young people that are around here that sang in my community choir that came up under me. They were going on and doing their thing and being blessed. So I was able to actually almost kind of in some way be active through them, you know, even though they're calling me for counsel, for advice when things are getting hard. I'm counseling them. I'm encouraging them. I'm pushing them, praying for them. And so I still felt very much a part of what was going on because I'm lending them all my support. And during that time, God just saw fit to call us back out there. I had recorded a few albums. Honestly, I had signed a deal, recorded a complete whole project, and mixed, master, turned it in, and it never came. It was never released. And
are we going to get to hear those songs then?
Some of the songs were actually done on this project. Again, some weren't. Some the label's actually looking at. They actually had me send them the old stuff. They're actually looking at putting some of those. I even thought about, back in the day, they used to do double projects, double CDs back in the day. We thought about doing an extended thing because it's just so much music that we've recorded over time that's really still good music. But they are actually looking at some of those songs to actually maybe play some of those songs in this project and maybe a few more. Some of them we'll redo, and we'll still put them out there because some really great songs and great writers that were part of those projects. But it just wasn't time. And it was discouraging. It was hard. It wasn't an easy space to be in, but it was an obedient place. And I've learned that being obedient is the safest and the best place to be in. And then God turned around and put it all together. And now here we are back again. And he's blessing all over again. I tell you, blowing my mind.
God is awesome. And when I think about all of the things that you've done, tell me where working on Emperor's New Groove soundtrack ranks.
That was huge because
that's like one of my favorite movies. Kronk, come on, John Goodman and David Spade, and that was an amazing movie. I read that it was like, what?
Yeah.
Emperor's New Groove. So what hand did you have in that project?
So of course, like I said, we've been singing around this area for many, many years. And as you know, the Sounds of Blackness are from this area. And Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis were responsible for exposing them to the world. And they had a lead singer by the name of Ann Nesby. And Ann is the mother of one of my long time singers, Jamesia Bennett. Jamesia started singing when she was like 16 years old in high school.
Wow.
And so they were also my neighbors at the time. So there are times that Ann used to watch my kids and blah, 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 blah. We were all very, very close friends. And so they decided to do a solo project on Ann Nesby. And it was an R&B project, but Ann had a gospel song called Lord How I Need You. And her love for us, she said, I need you guys to come and do background on this song.
Wow.
And when we went into flight time with them to do background, and Jimmy Terry fell in love with the group. And they had a lot to say. They loved it. I mean, they loved the song, they loved us, and they loved the work ethic, how we got in there, how we did it. We did it timely, did it quickly, with excellence. And so we got called back. Big Jim Wright was living at the time as well. Rest in peace, Big Jim. And they were producing a lot of projects. And I would get a call, like today is Wednesday, I would get a call saying, hey, James, how's it going? Good. Hey, what are you busy Friday? And of course, they call and say, are you busy Friday? The answer is absolutely no, I'm not busy Friday.
Right.
Say, hey, can you gather the group and come do a session? Can you be at flight time at 6 o'clock? Sure can. We had no idea what we were going to do. We gathered, we'd be there at 6 o'clock. They come out, start teaching us the song. They say, oh, by the way, did you guys know what this is you're doing? We say, no. Oh, this is a soundtrack. You're doing background for Sting, or you're doing background for Boyz II Men. And we wouldn't even know what we were getting called for. And they fell in love with the group and the work ethic. There were even times we were recording the songs, and I'm kind of watching them produce the song. I'm watching producing the group, and I'm just thinking like, it works so much better if they would do this, because I know my singers, right? So I would say,
right.
Can I make a quick suggestion? Like, sure. I said, can I move them around a little bit? And they say, yes, I'll move them around. And then they would take another take, and they'd be like, oh my God. And I'll never forget Terry Lewis saying, come here, James. He said, come here. I said, well, he said, you're going to produce these vocals. I'm like, you're kidding me. He said, nope, sit in this seat. This is your group. And I got a chance to actually produce vocals for Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, which was like a mind-blowing experience. So they would give me the producer's seat when we would go in. So it was simply being called to do background, but it blessed us so much, because we even got a call to come. They said, you guys busy next week? And we said, no. They said, well, Mariah Carey will be here at the Mall of America recording for the Good Morning America show. Oh, it's the Today Show. And we want you guys to come and do background for Mariah Carey at the Mall of America. Huge. When I tell you the exposure that came from that, I even got another record deal behind that. Literally, it was such a big deal. Almost every school in Minnesota took a pause and had the kids watching the show, because we were from here. We wanted Today Show. People camped out all night at the mall. Camped out all night to be there. They had to shut the doors to hear Mariah Carey. And that came through flight time. So many doors opened just by being able to be in that space. They were casting for a play in LA written by Jerome Benton, and I can't think of the other guy's name, but he was the writer for all the Sanford and Son episodes and mid episodes back then. They wrote a play, and they were looking for singers, and they called us to audition. And they brought the group out to LA to audition. We auditioned, got the part, spent the whole summer in California doing this play. Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis wrote all the music for the play. And that's actually how Cassie Davis and LeVan got casted for Tyler Perry's show House of Pain. They were part of the play. They saw the play and they got cast, and they got that. So many doors open for us from just being here, and from Ann Nesby opening that door for us, and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis hearing us. We were on the Emperor's New Groove. We were on the
Fighting Temptations.
And then there's another one with Boyz II Men. We singing I Will Get There with Boyz II Men on that soundtrack. So yeah, a lot of doors open for us through that. Yeah.
So you took this time. What did you hear that released you to come back to the industry?
Literally, the doors start opening. The kids were grown, pretty much all grown, and had moved on. And we began just to be more active. We got out, we were singing more, doing more dates, started recording again. We actually did a live recording back in 2018. And it's just, it's funny how things turn out. We did live recording in 2018. It turned out pretty well. I wasn't 100% pleased, but some things happened technically that night that caused that project not to be able to be completed. And so, here we go again. And then the door opened with Black Smoke. Kerry Douglas. I've been friends with Kerry Douglas for many years. And Kerry said to me, he said, Greer, he said, you always put together amazing projects. He said, but you give them to the wrong people. He said, Greer, he said, let me show you how I can market a project. And we ended up doing the deal. I sent him one of the songs we were recording. He fell in love with it. We did a deal. So the doors just start opening again, and things just start coming together. And next thing you know, we were we had the music together, and we carried them. They picked the single and put the music out, and I just, you could just feel the season was there because I was free. I wasn't as stressed out with all the things going on at home. I was free. I was being creative again. The motivation was there. The desire was there. It was almost like a fresh wind starting all over again. Almost the excitement we had from the first project all over again. And so I clearly knew it was time. Of course, keeping things in prayer. I'm always praying and seeking God for direction constantly. I believe in keeping the prayer life and open communication with God and making sure I'm being led and hearing. I was in speaking to open doors, and as the doors open, we just begin to walk in the doors.
What a blessing. And did you go? Might have had. Can you see me?
Yes, I can.
All right. It's dark on my end. Not sure what happened. Let's see what's going on. We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back and see if I can get my camera back together. Be right back.
All right.
You the way I know your resume. I've been messing with you heavy lately. You never wrong. That's how you made me. Yeah, that's how you made me. Hey, that go hard. Ooh. That go hard, bro.
Oh, me. Hey, man.
Look, we need to call Micah and Jeremiah right now,
Hey, ASAP, bro. Let's get it, bro.
We need to call them right now. Have them come over here. You got their number?
Go ahead. You got it.
Yeah. I need y'all to go crazy on this, bro. Yeah. That's how you made me, yeah. That's how you made me. That's how you made me, yeah. That's how you made me. That's how you made me, yeah. That's how you made me. That's how you made me, yeah. That's how you made me, yeah. That's how you made me. They capping, I can't let them shade me, yeah. Can't let them play me. Ain't worry about how much they hate me, yeah. I know that they hate me. I'm focused, can't let them delay me, yeah. Not even maybe, yeah.
It's cause that I'm black, or it's because of my pockets fat and put my team on the map. My mama, she told me when I was just off of the liquor, I didn't even know how to act. I grew up in the street, so to the street life, I'm living that street life, I had to adapt. And they say that they love you, they switching up on you, then breaking your bone like a bridge will collapse. Miracle. They say your lifestyle a miracle. They say they bob in their head and listen to your song, but they really not hearing you. Now I'm just dancing for greatness. My mama, she told me, little son, just have patience. And the doctors, they say I won't make it, they wrong. This is the way that you made me. Hey.
That's how you made me, yeah. That's how you made me. They capping, I can't let them shade me, yeah. Can't let them play me. Ain't worry about how much they hate me, yeah. I know that they hate me. I'm focused, can't let them delay me, yeah. Not even maybe, yeah. That's how you made me, yeah. That's how you made me. They capping, I can't let them shade me, yeah. Can't let them play me. Ain't worry about how much they hate me, yeah. I know that they hate me. I'm focused, can't let them delay me, yeah. Not even maybe, yeah. That's how you made me. I've been a rebel since a baby. A straight gorilla, but I'm not a killer, and I'm not that easily persuaded. I did the night thing, fake for light thing. Did the fight your homie on sight. Now I do the right thing, not the light thing. I know you gon' keep me faded, yeah. You created me so I would never fold. What I believe is what I'm standing on, and now I'm trying to be a better me, so I can end up in a better zone. See daily, I've been praying to you daily, cause you the way I know your resume. I've been messing with you heavy lately. You're never wrong. That's how you made me, yeah. That's how you made me. They capping, I can't let them shade me, yeah. Can't let them play me, ain't worry about how much they hate me, yeah. I know that they hate me. I'm focused, can't let them delay me, yeah. Not even maybe, yeah. That's how you made me, yeah. That's how you made me. They capping, I can't let them shade me, yeah. Can't let them play me, ain't worry about how much they hate me, yeah. I know that they hate me. I'm focused, can't let them delay me, yeah. Not even maybe, yeah.
This how you made me. When people be capping, don't face me. And all the fake love drive me crazy. I used to be broke on the daily. I had some more friends, but they snake me. I had some females that replaced me, but now they show love on the daily. I had to be humble and patient. Yeah. They hated on me, but they love me now. The devil coming, trying to knock me down, but I'm feeling so good I could crack a smile. They word to my mama, won't let it down. And I told my little sister, go get a crown. And I told my big brother, it's better round. See, people be thinking I need a crowd, I don't need them now.
That's how you made me, yeah. That's how you made me. They capping, I can't let them shade me, yeah. Can't let them play me, ain't worry about how much they hate me, yeah. I know that they hate me. I'm focused, can't let them delay me, yeah. Not even maybe, yeah. That's how you made me, yeah. That's how you made me. They capping, I can't let them shade me, yeah. Can't let them play me, ain't worry about how much they hate me, yeah. I know that they hate me. I'm focused, can't let them delay me, yeah. Not even maybe, yeah.
We know you know R&B because you sang it, and you know gospel, you know Christian contemporary, you know all that good stuff. What's another song that people will be surprised that you know?
That is a really good question.
Yeah, I don't care if it's the Dixie Chicks, Aaliyah, to old Tupac. What something that people wouldn't know?
Okay, let's see. Let me see if I remember the words. Oh, me and my mom's favorite rap song. Here we go. Check it out. I said it hip hop, it hip to the hip hop, and it don't stop, but rock it to the bang bang boogie. Said up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat.
Hey.
Now what you hear is not a test. I'm rapping to the beat.
Oh.
I said me, my crew, and my friends, we gonna try to move your feet. And I am Wonder Mike, and I like to say,
I don't know the song.
oh, you want to say hello to the black, to the black, the red, and the brown, the purple, and yellow. But first, you gotta bang, bang, the boogie to the boogie to the up, jump the boogie to the bang, bang, boogie. Let's rock. And you don't stop. Rock the rhythm that'll make your body rock. Ah!
So, before people get on me, first of all, you killed that, sir. And I'm familiar with it, but my mom didn't let me listen to black stuff growing up. So, black movies.
I actually snuck and listened to it because my brother used to listen to it all the time, so don't feel bad.
And my mom right here, so I can say that. Now, if you had come out with the Sound of Music.
All right. I can see you again.
Awesome.
That's the beauty of live television.
Yes, sir.
All right. So where we were at, we were talking about the opportunities presenting themselves for you to be able to come back into the industry. And if you don't mind, if you remember where you work, please continue that story.
I think so. I think I remember. I think I was saying that the doors just began to open back up. It was kind of like evident that it was time to come back because, you know, the way it was made. And like I said, then again, the motivation, the excitement, the strength. Because think about it now, I'm a lot more mature than I was back then, running around traveling and stuff. I was young. It was fun then. But so for that motivation to come back, you know, there's no question that it's God, and when God puts a gift and a calling and in you, He gives you what you need to sustain it and to do what it is that He called you to do. And that second wind came back, and it came back strong. Nervous, not knowing, you know, how it would be accepted. A lot of new people. Nothing is the same. The industry's changed. Radio people, personalities have changed.
Yeah.
So we're entering in almost like new artists again, you know. But God has shown his favor once again. It's kind of mind blowing, but it's evident that it's him and that it's the right time.
So did you actually miss the industry, part of the industry, where whether it's having to communicate with people like me who get all up in your business, or having to do the chitlin circuit as they call it, and trying to call the stations and hey, this is James Grear. I know you know who I am. I'm Emperor's New Groove, James Grear. I'm the one that worked with my Brown Clark. You need to put me on your radio. Did you actually miss that part of the industry?
I did. I missed it. I miss being a part of it. It's not something that I would go around every day thinking about, but sometimes you sit down and you listen to music, or you're watching something on YouTube, on live, or on TV, or whatever, songs on the radio, and it's in you. It's part, to me, it's like part of your DNA. You were born into this, to this ministry. And then, but like I said, I really enjoy watching other people go forth and spring into the industry. I was enjoying that piece of it, but absolutely I missed it, especially when opportunities would come up and we would have to go and do something. We get on the road and go somewhere, and the group's just like, man, when can we please get back to this? Like, we missed this so much. So I definitely have. Now, there are some things that I did not miss.
Oh, tell us who it is.
So for instance, a good example, when you're a part of an event, and there's always that nervousness when you have to go on stage and you have to be on, but when you're not, you can go and sit back and just enjoy. And I did really enjoy being able to be in different environments without being nervous and tensed up because I had to be on stage later. So I just really enjoyed sitting back watching. I was going to everybody. I was going to Ricky Dilla's recording. I was going to my nephew out in Oklahoma. I was going to everybody's live recordings. I was still, around, the environment, just wasn't active. So I missed it. I want to say almost everything about it. You don't miss some of the craziness, of course, but yeah, when it's in you, you've been called to it. Yeah, you miss it. You definitely miss it.
Now you and I hate to get it wrong and then have to edit myself out. You're in Minnesota?
I am, correct.
I know the one group in Minnesota that with Excelsior that
absolutely
right. So there's Excelsior in them.
Yep.
There's James Grear.
Mm-hmm. There's Darnell Davis.
Darnell Davis.
And the
Remnant. Well, that's Excel. Well, yeah. Yep.
He's also the producer of this project, the single that we have out now.
Nice.
Yep. One of my very, very closest, one of my best friends. That's like my little brother. We talk probably every day. But
nice.
Yeah,
does that mean that that there's gonna be a little R&B flavor to it as well? That's the kind of a Darnell Davis staple.
It's so funny because he almost can't help it. Because even on the song we did with Mariah with I Want to Say Thank You.
Yeah.
If you listen to it, the live version that's coming, at the end he put this thing on it that goes right to that R&B feel. And Mariah just got right in there and just was right in sync with it. But it's naturally who he is. Like, a person can't escape. He's so gifted. He's versatile. He can step into any genre.
Yeah.
But it always goes back to that feel. So some of it definitely is going to have a little bit of that feel to it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love Darnell Davis music, and
he has new music coming out. His new music out and new music coming out as well.
Oh,
yeah.
He's
amazing. Yeah, he's amazing.
And he had a live recording, and I think he brought back some of Excelsior with it or something to that effect.
He did. Yep, he did. His recording was in
October.
Something like no, mine was in September, so his was before me. His was probably around, I want to say maybe July.
Okay. I had interviewed him and I was supposed to be there. I got VIP and everything. They didn't have VIP, but I had declared myself VIP and something came up and I was able to make it. But yeah, so I'm familiar with the Minnesota sound. Okay. Name me somebody else that's in Minnesota. I want to know, should I be listening to Minnesota gospel music?
You have Javante Patton.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He was in my community choir. And I had my choir, New Friends. He's one of the kids that was in my community choir. as a younger teen, young adult. Jamar Esau is from here. He Triad. He's in Nashville now, at Zion Baptist Church, but he's born and raised in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So Triad stems from and was birthed out of Minneapolis.
When you have people that kind of like are in your music tree, because there's like in football, there's a coach's tree. So you have a music tree of Davis, Patton, does that give you a sense of, wow, because at some point you have to go a little bit of, look what I'm bringing out into the world. Look what I am helping foster. Look at what I'm helping to produce using my gifts, talents, skills, and abilities. Do you get that type of feeling, or is it just, do you just like, oh, that's just Patton?
I definitely get it, and they don't let me not get it because they acknowledge me as just that. One of the phone calls I got when I was getting on, when I was trying to hit stop, was Jamar calling me. we all very close, and they call me their dad in the music industry. Jamar was in my community choir. He was in New Friends. So they don't let me forget it. They always honor me that way. They always tell me I'm the Jamar sang for my live recording. Jamar's they look on the video on YouTube. Jamar's singing in the background of my live recording. That's the real son. For him to be one of the most sought out choir directors in the country at one of our biggest mega churches, for him to have a choir Triad, the level that they sing on, and to come and to sing background in my group, and to to be part, to still spend stuff under my leadership, it blesses me beyond measure. So they don't let me forget it. Even on the R&B side, the R&B group Next, they came up. Tilo sang with me for a little while. He literally, believe it or not, they
oh my goodness,
that's my nephew, and I introduced him to RL, and I taught them their first song, put them on their first stage, which was in church when they first started the group. And then I watched that spring into I watched them go from, always in interviews, they had me on their unsung, and I always talk about how Tilo, they had a very tough upbringing. So I watched him go from being on the streets doing stuff to traveling the world on tour. I'm sitting looking at BET every day, watching their video every day, watching them blow up and go sell millions of records. This is the same little boy that I used to step into, talking to me about his dream about wanting to sing, wanting to be a singer, and RL on the other end called me trying to have his group. So I was like, let me introduce you guys to each other. Maybe you guys can start a group together. But just watching all of that, it's everything to me. Like, just to be blessed to have any kind of input and encourage them and inspiring them and pushing them forward when they didn't want to go forward, when they were discouraged, to get those late night calls, when they want to roll, get those calls, when they just need somebody to talk to, somebody to pray with them. Just being that person, I love everything about that. I love it.
So when they're on, just a quick question about Next, because I'm a 90s R&B guy, and I remember them coming out. When you see someone that was in your group and they're growing up to be, they're doing their thing, and then you find out, okay, Naughty by Nature is interested in bringing in somebody that was in your choir. Do you be like, that's Naughty by Nature and I'm saved by Jesus? Did you try to talk them out of that type of path, maybe going into the next Men of Standard or the next Widens? Like, you never tried to detract them or deter them?
Absolutely not, because I've learned that everybody's not called to the same space. Everybody's not called. There are people that are out here that are artists, that are musicians, and they're out there. They're kind of living and singing in their truth. Everybody can't sing praise and worship because that's not the life that they live. That's not their upbringing. It's not their culture. It's not what they're familiar with. This was them being true to who they absolutely were. And all I could do was encourage it and to give them the guidance that I could. One thing about them, I give them credit for, they never lost their sense of spirituality. They will call for prayer. RL writes gospel songs. There's a song from RL that's going to be on my album. Every time he writes a gospel song, he called me about 2 weeks ago. Like, I got a new song. Always send it to you first. And he's writing from his heart. Even after them getting out there and doing what they did in the R&B field, experiencing life on a different level, also the trials that came with that, even brought them back in closer to God now in their more mature years. So there was so much purpose that was still in it. They lived the lavish, wonderful life as top R&B artists. And now to see them going to church and reverencing God and they come do records with me, to give back to giving back to God. They're thankful for what He's done. I never tried to sway people from being who they are and what they do. I consider myself, I've always been considered a non-judgment zone, because I was raised up in that grand old Church of God in Christ, and I was raised up in the strict holiness and holiness of hell. And thank God all day for the foundation and for the morals and values and the things that it taught us. But as I grew older and more mature and in life and things happened, I began to realize that everything wasn't what it looked like. And we had to learn to meet people where they were. If we really truly love God and love people, we had to meet them where they were and not try to make people be who we think they should be, but meet them where they are and allow God to do whatever He wants and what He needs to do in them. Their journey is not my journey. It's not your journey. It's their journey. And to support them and where they are and to love them through what they're going through where they are. So I never tried to expect people to do what I thought they should do.
You never told him to say, you never looked at him and said, step back, you're standing kind of close. You never said, okay. Well,
I definitely said to them, you all are so nasty. And y'all are just nasty. Because at first I was just listening to music and finally I heard the words. I was like, wait a minute, what are y'all doing? Like, y'all so nasty. I definitely had to say that to them a few times, but once again, being true to who they are.
Yeah. Step back. You're dancing kind of close. That was my song growing up. I like Next. Okay, so this new project, let's get to it. We've been on this interview for 47 minutes, and I'm just now asking you, can you give us some insight, some exclusivity on the Javon Show about the new James Grear project?
Absolutely. The single that's out now currently is called I Want to Say Thank You.
Marette.
It is Marette Brown Clark featuring the wonderful, amazing, talented, gifted, sweet, loving Marette Brown Clark. That song is a remake. It was a song recorded years ago, written by Ferris Evans Jr. out of Gary, Indiana, my hometown where I'm born and raised.
Shut up! Let me come back on the scene. I'm from Chicago, so when I heard the song, I said, "Wait a minute, this is hey, we sang this in Chicago."
Absolutely.
Hard, and then
real hard, real hard. Yes.
So you're from Gary, though.
I'm born and raised in Gary, Indiana. Yep. So the Chicago influence was all my influence growing up. The Chicago choirs, and so you're from Chicago. Lavonia Woodley Corinthian Temple.
Yes.
Charles Clancy.
Yes.
Cosmopolitan Church of Prayer Choir. I grew up listening to every broadcast on Sunday night, every choir. I grew up on that. I grew up as a choir director. And that's
Charles
where
G. Hayes, Sweet Holy Spirit, and
Ricky
Diller, Mark Hubbard, and oh my goodness,
Ricky Diller and I used to go to the Gospel Workshop of America together when we were just kids. When Ricky was still directing at Portland Street Church of God in Christ, and I was in Gary directing at Deliverance Temple. And they would come over and fellowship with us, and we would go to the workshop, and Ricky would get pulled out every year to sing on the front row of that big old mass choir, and that was like heaven for him. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we go back. I was a Gary, Indiana church boy, running around Chicago to all the church musicals and all the concerts. Milton Bronson and the Tommies, their annual concerts, all that. That's the era.
Chicago mass choir. Oh, I can go to the Rock.
Man, Dr. Ferranda. So that's my upbringing. That's my roots. It's Gary, Indiana, Chicago. That's the sound that influenced me as a kid. And that song, I Want to Say Thank You, was always one of my favorite songs. And I always said that when I got a chance to record it, I was going to record that song. I talked to every choir I ever worked with. I just love that song. And we started this project, and I called June. We call him June, Ferris Evans. I called June. I was like, hey, which a few of his songs are on my project, actually. But I was like, we got to do this song. And so, and then I was trying to figure, I had a different, because when I would teach it to choirs, I had a different kind of feel of it myself, though, kind of my own interpretation. Then I called Marette. I was like, Marette, I really want you to be on this project. She's like, okay, well, let me hear the music. And so I said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to send her 3 songs and hoping she's going to feel the same thing I feel. She's going to pick this one. And after she got back, she said, James, I like this. I like that. But she said, I want to say thank you. I think you got something going there. But the amazing thing was her interpretation. And when she came in the studio and when she came prepared, and her being the ad-lib queen, when she put her spin, it was a no-brainer. I was like, this is the song right here. I knew it right then and there. Yeah.
It's such a great version.
Thank
And
you.
I want to say everything Marette Brown Clark does.
Everything.
Everything.
I can't think of a song by her that I don't like.
One God. One God. I mean, every song she does.
Every single song.
Is it a little intimidating? I was not supposed to do an hour interview, but I'm so sorry, but I don't care. So when she comes into the studio, there isn't like a, yes, I've worked with this and I've worked with that, but that's Marette Brown Clark and she's kills everything. So now I got to make sure that this doesn't die a slow, painful death. I got to make sure that it kills.
When I tell you, she comes in the most humble, easy person to work with, and her main objective, of course, she's a perfectionist. Clearly, look at her career, she's a perfectionist, but her main objective is to make sure that she's giving you what you want and that she's fulfilling your vision. And every verse, everything, like, is that okay? Is that what you want? I'm gonna do something different. Marette, you are killing this song. Like, we can't even sit down right now because and talk about how quickly she worked. She came prepared, and that you don't always get that when you're dealing with top name artists. They come in like, okay, what do you want to do now? She came prepared. Her homework was done. Listen. It was such a pleasurable experience working with her. Even her encouraging me, even through the process of the song, me at some point not getting what I wanted from the tracks and stuff. And she was like, you know what? In this season, it's at the time to compromise. Get it the way you want it, even with the mix, down to the mix. Make sure when you sit down, when you hear it, it's what you want, not what somebody else wants. It's what you want. And she even encouraged me through this process to stick with it. This song was not a quick process. We went through about 3 or 4 different tracks and took us over a year to get this song the way we wanted it. But when we knew we were done, we sat down and said, wow, this is it. We got one. Which wasn't supposed to be the single. We'll talk about that later, but that wasn't supposed to be the single.
How could you not let this be? Now I'm getting angry because it's Marette Brown Clark. You just let her do whatever you want. What do you want the single to be?
Well, we had, so on this album, we also have Kim Burrell, Ernest Pugh. We have Zacardi Cortez project. Right.
Oh, that's all you have? You know, you don't have me. I didn't get a call. They didn't say, that guy from the Vaughn show, he does all these singing, all these creative showcases. He sang with CeCe Winans. Maybe he might be available, but no. Can I do something real quick while I'm out here fussing?
Yes, sir.
I just want to do this just real quick, and we're going to be right back, but I just got to do a little bit of this, if you don't mind.
From the East Coast, show some love to Sister Marette Brown Clark. This is my friend, y'all. I love her so much. Come on, here we go.
If I never live another day, if I never see another smiling face, if I never breathe another breath, and take another step, I want to say thank you, yeah. If I never hear what's to be heard, oh my, if I never speak another word, if I never see another sight, taste another bite, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being so kind.
So there's a thing about hearing that song and hearing her voice attached to it that just shivers me timbers.
It's like a magical moment. It's like a magical, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a magical, collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
It just worked out. I mean, can you imagine? And people kept on saying to me, like, what made you hear her? I just heard this version, even though Ferris Evans is responsible for the arrangement and Darnell Davis produced the track, but I I heard it vocally different, and I just heard it, and I heard her because I hear so much that can be said in that song, and who else can better ad-lib than Marette Brown Clark? And I just knew that she would take it to a place that that song could go. And I tell you, it was magical. It just every time we sat back and listened to when we got done in the studio, I just could not stop listening. Like, wow, this is a magical moment. She gave that song a whole different feel, and it's amazing. Every time I hear it, I love it.
What, and I know you're going to say, I'll talk about some of the other artists and some of the other songs that's on the project. But my other question to you is just going back to you being who you are. And I mean, even Bryant Lewis, and I put it on the screen, and I'm going to say it again. OMG, James Grear. OMG, where have you been, man? You are the truth. Knowing that you're the truth, do you ever still get producers or people going, no, James, I don't think that's going to work. And then you just have to go, do you know who I am?
Boy, do I get it. Yes.
Do you know my pedigree?
You definitely get it, because think about Javon. Everybody has their own interpretation of music and their own ear. And you can get 3 producers in a room and they have 3 different visions of what a song should go. And I had to learn to hear what's good advice, good counsel, whatever, and take it, but also had to learn to hear what I need to hear as well as an artist. And I don't get terribly swayed by what people think, because I know God blessed me with an ear and a gift as well to hear what I want to hear. But a lot of different opinions, even with that, a lot of different opinions come forth. But you have to kind of know what you want to hear, know what you're going for, and be confident in that. And when we heard this, I knew that was it. And it didn't matter what anybody else said. I knew that was it.
Let's pretend like it's just me and you on the phone right now. The other people that are watching and watch it later, they really don't exist. Can you do me a favor and at least tell me that sometimes you at least give off a little bit of nice nasty when people challenge you? Like, is James Grear nice nasty? It's just me and you. It's just me and you.
You usually get the same me. You do. You know, what you see is what you get. However,
thank you.
There is a side that, and it takes some of my boys to tell you, especially one of my sons. He's so funny. He's maybe like they'll bring over a young lady to meet me or something like that, right? And they're just so nervous, just hoping, like, we hope so badly that Dad likes her, because if Dad does not like her, he's probably going to say something. And I have done like that. There's that side. One young lady came over and she was just, everything about her just checked off wrong. And she was so busy trying to convince me that she was this great person, this wholesome person. And I finally got tired. I said, young lady, young lady, can you do me a favor? Can you listen to me for a second? I said, listen. I said, you see that boy right there? She said, yep. I said, that's my heart. I said, if anything happens to him, you better figure out what state you're going to live in, because this one won't be big enough for me and you. And my son was like, Dad. I said, nope, you be quiet. It's my time to talk. I've been listening to y'all for the last hour and a half. So those little things come out when it's things that matter, and my kids matter. And needless to say, that woman tried to get my son killed a few months later. So I wasn't off at all. I wasn't off at all. So when there's something that, so one way to get a different side of me is the parent side of me, very much so. Yeah, there's been some moments that I had to go back on my knees and say, Lord, that was just out of line. I was so out of line. God, please forgive me, accept me in the kingdom when I leave here, because I know that was out of line. So people can take you out of your character, and that there's been times with that, but it's not easy. It takes a lot to get me out of my character. Like you'll hardly ever hear my group members say that I've yelled at them, or I've yelled in rehearsal, or they get to, my face tells them I'm upset, and I will take a different tone and that's what I need. But I don't usually go out of character a lot, and get to yelling or out of character. What you see is kind of what you get. But I do have a confession to make. For people that believe in this, some may say that's not of the devil, you shouldn't say that, but I hear this a lot. But I am a Gemini.
Oh, well, that 100%, that 100% explains it. 100% explains it. And she was probably a Taurus. I'm kidding. That's a joke. My friend that I was just talking to today is a Taurus. That's the only reason. That's the one that jumped in my head immediately. I'm a Cancer, so all you have to do is look at us, and we're going to cry and be sensitive and then be in our feelings, and then come back 2 days later and bring some cake, and everything's going to be fine.
And love you, and look like you never did nothing wrong. Forgive
exactly.
you, move on. You can do it again 6 months later, and we're going to be upset about blah. And then you call us until you need something. We're gonna be able to give you what you need and try to make sure you're okay. And just to a fault. But I will say to you, I've had the same circle of friends for many, many years. And my circle hasn't changed very much. Of course, there are new people coming because I have kids and all that kind of stuff. But my group members they've all been there many, many, many years. My friends are my close friends. Darnell and I have been friends since Darnell was like a teenager. And so my circle hasn't changed much. So my relationships are long lasting. They're long, there's longevity. Because we people get to know each other. We know each other. We know who each other are. We know how to handle each other. But I don't give you a lot of different personalities. I'm kind of who I am. What you see is kind of what you get for the most part until you kind of push it. You have to really, 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 really push it though. Yeah.
So I'm excited to hear the whole project. First of all, anything that with Moret, and then you say, well, I also got Kim, then I also got Zakari. It's like, okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and listen to this project. I mean, why not? I might as well. I love gospel music. I love these artists. James Greer is a legend. So I might as well go ahead and listen to this project. I'm going to connect these two in a second. There was an artist out of Atlanta that recently passed, Kevin Lemons.
Yes.
And his music had a profound effect on me. Just amazing gospel music. Got to meet him a couple of times. Nothing. I mean, listen, I'm not about to pretend in front like we was Ace Coon Boom, but the conversation that we had, very nice, very cordial man, put out amazing music. My question is this: 44 years old and passes.
Yes.
When those moments happen, do you think about the career? Do you think about what could have happened in that span of 13 years? Do you think about what's next for James Greer? And how does something like that, where an up-and-coming gospel artist who's on what we seem as a trajectory to greatness and legendary status passes away, how does that affect you and maybe your thoughts of the industry and music and your longevity?
It affects me greatly because, like you said, we see many of us watched it from when he first came on the scene to where he was up, to at this point, and just the progress and the name that he made for himself, the quality of music that he put out in this industry, and to see him, in my opinion, reaching his prime and peaking at, reaching his prime in his career, in his ministry, his career. A project out on Hez's label, RCA Records, and just his career is steady climbing. He's steady climbing, and for this to just happen so suddenly, it's devastating. And it makes you. It also puts a sense of reality and a sense of urgency in you to understand that we're not here forever, and that the time that we're here for, we have an assignment, and we have to be busy because there's sometimes you do get weary, you do get tired, and maybe times you do get lax and you kind of relax and and it makes you just want to focus more and be about our Father's business, because I'm a firm believer that we've been given these gifts and these callings to reach people, and music, as we know, music reaches people in a way that nothing else much can reach people, and it makes you want to just get busy and reach as many people as you can and just get busy doing what you can, because it makes you realize that our days are numbered. We're not here forever, and one day will be our day. And it's just so many thoughts, Javon. I think about his choir members and those who's been with him, and this was a sudden death. A lot of times when people are sick and you see it coming, but this was a sudden death, and to be where you are today, and you wake up tomorrow and your leader is gone, it's a devastating reality, and just makes you want to be about your Father's business. I would just say even more so. That's really my thought, and it's just devastating. My heart just goes out to his family, to the choir, his friends, his followers. This man had a great impact. I've just got a chance to experience him last year doing the Stellas, the musical they do at the Midnight Musical, the choir festival. That man, he was sick that night. I remember him being sick that night. But man, they brought the house down. It was just unbelievable. And just to lose him like that, it's a great loss to the industry. But it definitely puts the fire under you to keep moving and keep pushing. Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing those thoughts with us. So when does the project come out? How do I get my exclusive VIP early copy signed to my dear friend Javon? Can you give us the specifics, please?
The project comes out. It's looking like probably around the first part of May.
Okay.
And not only will I to the release concert, hopefully you'll come down and be with us.
And you know what? In Minneapolis, right?
Yes, sir.
There's going to be a VIP row.
There's going to be just like it was at the recording. Had we been talking, you would have been on a VIP row next to many people that were there in September for the live recording. But yes,
if Marette Brown Clark needs someone to hold her bag when she goes on stage, I am a bag keeper. I am a Marette Brown heavy load sheriff.
She's so humble. She probably tell you, put that bag down. She's such a sweetheart.
But you know what? I'm going to be there. I'm going to be. If you tell the people that we know that connect us, I am telling you right now, I will be in attendance with my camera, getting exclusive content. I will be there.
I love it. I love it. I will. You have my word. I will let you know. And yes, VIP, all that good stuff. But yeah, so we hopefully project we're looking for hopefully around the first week of May, the first part of May, hopefully.
Excellent. The
single continues to grow. I don't know if you got the word or not, but it did hit top 30 this past week. We hit the top 30 on Billboard.
Why wouldn't it? Why isn't it top 10 right now? Because the industry is full of it. I said IT. It's full of it. And I'm sick of it because as soon as this came out, should have been top 5. Maverick City should have moved.
Oh,
did I just give a name?
You did. He said it, you guys. I did. He said it was him. It was Javon.
That's why I don't get interviews. Okay, please continue. Okay, so first part of May, the single is rising as well as it's supposed to. So
thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. That means a lot.
I'm extremely excited. Also, by the way, if I'm third row, Marquise Jokes has to be 7th row. Don't put him.
Okay.
Competition.
Okay.
Larry Reed, 9th row. Willie Moore, balcony.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right, we can continue now. Oh, okay. This turned petty. It always turns petty after an hour, so that's on me. That's my fault. James Grear, the legendary James Grear. How do we get in touch with you? How can people connect with you? Where do people find you?
Absolutely. I am very active on social media. My Facebook page, James Grear, and my name is spelled Greea. People often want to do the double E and they can't. Mm-hmm. It's Grear. And my Instagram is James_Grear. And I am very active on there. I answer all DMs and all that. And if they're looking to email, if they're looking for bookings or something, it's James Grear Cole, CO, @gmail.com.
Excellent. I do believe that I think that I followed you recently, and I did not get my follow back.
Yikes! I will go grab it.
You see how petty I am. Let me get it out. I got to
take care of that immediately.
I got to do this for the recording. Let my follow not be returned. See what happens. I'm going to make sure that single goes to number 77. What is wrong? Listen, I don't know, James. I don't know. But I appreciate you for coming on the Javon Show. I appreciate you for sharing your ministry, for returning after 13 years. I appreciate you populating the earth. Kids, grandkids, great grandkids. I'm sure that I hope that they just get a little bit of that sap falling from the tree so they can continue to bring us
30
grandchildren. Man, may you sell 100,000 copies per grandchildren. Let's make this the number one selling album.
I receive it.
Let's make it to where the sellers have to put you on.
Man,
I said it.
Wouldn't that be wonderful after all these years? Wouldn't that be amazing? That would be amazing.
I think that there should be a tribute. How they do those tributes, and you should get the James Cleveland Award or whatever the
wow.
Or maybe if I give them a couple of dollars, they'll name it after my auntie. I don't know. What am I still talking? James Grear, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for
coming through. Hopefully this interview doesn't send you the other way because of my foolishness, but you know, we edit all that out.
I love every minute of it. I love it. I absolutely love it.
I
Thank
so
you for having
appreciate
me.
you.
I
This has
appreciate
been an
it.
honor. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's James Grear. You all have to right now go to Apple Music because that's the only place you should listen to music. Go get it, purchase it. No, I know what you're about to do. You're about to go and just get it for free. I bind your free spirit. Go pay the 99 cents, $1.29. Just pay it and support the ministry because it's worthy. And it's Marette Brown Clark and it's James Grear. Enough said. On behalf of everyone at 441 Filmworks, JVM Productions, and iDream Media, Dr. Anisha Thompson at Elevate Magazine, and everyone involved in the creation production of this podcast, which, ladies and gentlemen, has very little to do with me and more to do with my great team, Dr. Marquise Jokes, and everybody else. I say to you, thank you for watching. God bless you, and we will see you real soon. And that's enough of that. Have a great night, James.
Thank you so much.
Bless you, sir.
So awesome. You take care. We talk soon.
Hey, my Instagram, you got like 30 days.
I'm gonna do it tonight.
Good night.
Thank you so much. You take care.
You too.
All right. Bye.
All right, everybody.